Hi, now welcome to the beginner basic lesson number 3. Now if you've just stumbled across this video on YouTube, I've got 5 free videos for beginners, for the absolute basics for beginners if you've never touched the trumpet before. If you've been playing for a while, there are some intermediate videos for comeback players if you've taken a break. And there's also 5 basic videos for professionals that would like to improve their performance. So please check them out and have a look around www.mysterytomastery.com. There's a lot of free trumpet stuff there for you to check out. So lesson 3 for you beginner guys, we've spoken about holding the trumpet, being nice and relaxed. We've spoken about the sound coming from inside of the body. We've spoken about moving air. We call it the airstream. And we've spoken about vibration. So the biggest problems with the trumpet for all the people that play and that I've taught that are having problems with their playing is their lips are way too tight. We call that pinching. If you pinch your arm, you can feel it, it hurts. Okay, so if we pinch our lips together, that makes life really, really tough. And the other problem is trying to blow way too much air. If I put my hand just over the end of the lead pipe, I can feel a lot of air moving through. Now, if I change and go up to notes, you might not be able to do this yet, don't panic. But if I go to a couple of higher notes, and what you will recognize is that on the high notes there's hardly any air moving. There's hardly any air going through the instrument. There's a little bit really fast air, okay? But the big problem people have is taking a huge breath and then they try and blow all this air through it. This is where the trumpet's confusing because the sound of it suggests there's a lot of air moving through the instrument. But in actual fact, as you get into the higher register, there's not very much air moving at all. By the time I'm getting up to those top notes, there's so little air moving, it's just... Okay, so I want to make sure from this very early stage that when you're thinking about higher notes, you're not thinking tight and blow hard. That's not how the trumpet works. The trumpet works by the lips vibrating, especially the bit in the middle. And when I do the ah, put your fingers on the sides of your lips and go ah, 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 or like this. Ah, ah, ah. You can feel the muscles at the side of the mouth starting to work a little bit more. And that's what we want to practice, is having them moving inwards in that way. Ow, ow. And as we get higher in the register of the trumpet, they come in more and more and more. Firmer, firmer, but we don't pinch the middle of the lips because they need to be loose to vibrate. Also, we don't want to start blowing hard and tightening everything up. That's not how to play. Up in the higher register, a loud note is more air. But for the time being, when you're developing your notes, I want to make sure everything's nice and loose and you're playing with a great sound. Now, here's some advice for you and for your teachers as well. Anybody can sound like a professional. That's right, even beginners. There's a very famous person named Arnold Jacobs, and he had a scenario where one of his students didn't seem to be progressing too well, according to the person taking the band, but sounded amazing. Said to Arnold, "What's going on with this guy? He sounds great, but he doesn't know the notes." And Arnold says, "Well, that's because he's had 2 lessons." So I encourage you to sound like a professional. Teachers, I encourage your students to sound like professionals. There's a lot of student sounding students. Sounds weird, doesn't it? but we can encourage all students to sound fantastic. If you understand the basics of how to create sound on the trumpet and then ingrain a really good sound, just copy that. You know to take a breath. Let's find that B flat again. We know how to make the body vibrate. We know how to make the air vibrate. Everything stays cool. We're going to play that low C now, and I want you to listen closely to it, and I want you to copy the sound. You might not be able to get it the first time. It might take a while. But in trying to copy the sound, make sure you don't tighten up and blow harder. We don't want to do that. We want to stay nice and relaxed. So low C, no valves. Remember how to hold the trumpet nice and loose. And here we go. Good backswing. Breath past the mouthpiece. Have a rest. Have a rest. Now there might be all kinds of weird sounds coming out. We might get, or we might get, and there's a heap more. They're all great. Have a think about this. Every sound that comes out is a combination of what the air's doing and what the mouth's doing. And when the mouth's doing the right thing and the air's doing the right thing, the note will be right. How do we know what the right thing to do is? Have a listen to the sound. The brain will take care of it. It'll go, that's the sound I want to make. Let's copy that. Low C. Now have a listen how I can move the note around. You can hear it go high of the pitch and low of the pitch, and it doesn't sound very good. Then when it's right in the middle, it sounds great. That's what you need to practice, and we practice that on all of the notes. And eventually you don't have to think about it. You see a note on the page that says play a low C, looks like this. Low C, and then you'll just pick the trumpet up. Okay, so we've made a great start, and you're really starting to understand how the trumpet works and what you need to do and what you need to practice every day. Did I mention practicing every day? Right, so when you've gone through this process and you're starting to learn notes, you know how to go about doing it. So I want to teach you in the next lesson C, D, E, F, and G, the first 5 notes. So make sure you keep practicing all of the things we've been talking about. Then it's time to get on to playing some notes. Okay, see you in lesson 4.